The final news of the teams. Jock, good afternoon to you and welcome to our programme. How are things out at Hampden?
Good afternoon, Arthur. Things are marvellous here at Hampden. A terrific atmosphere building up. A very big crowd indeed, as we expected. The massed pipe bands out in the field just now, but we've just had confirmation of both sides, and there are no surprises among the 11 players lined up for each side. The Aberdeen team is exactly as anticipated that it is now, with the selection of John McMaster instead of Peter Weir, and Peter Weir in fact doesn't even find a place on the bench. The substitutes will be Doug Bell and Eric Black, so that's a little bit of a surprise, I think. The Rangers team too playing as selected, with Gordon DL will be wearing number 9 and Alec Miller number 10. So there's the Rangers side. Again, no changes at the last minute, and Ian Redford is not fit enough to take his place on the bench. The two Rangers substitutes are Colin McAdam and Tommy McLean, so that represents a great deal of experience in the Rangers camp on the bench.
So obviously, Jock, John Gregg's decision to take Tommy McLean down for the pre-match preparations down the Clyde was obviously had a bit of good sense to it, because all of a sudden he could be playing in another Scottish Cup final.
Yes, I think he's got two big contributions too, Arthur. He can obviously play very well indeed in his own right, but I think he can also go on late in the match and perhaps direct traffic a bit and convey John Gregg's thoughts from the dugout, or perhaps his own thoughts as well, because we know he's a very intelligent reader of the game, and he can go on the field and direct traffic from right in the middle there.
Right, well, we'll come back to you in a moment, Jock, because I'm going to ask our two guests, Jock Wallace and Billy McNeil, just a final comment about the teams. Billy, how do you see the tactical battle developing in these critical first 20 minutes, always so important in a cup final?
Yes, well, I think it's important whichever team settles first. We're just discussing that, Jock and I, earlier on, that obviously if Aberdeen get an early goal, I think that will that'll settle them utterly entirely. Equally, obviously, if Rangers get the early goal, then that very much will settle them. I would think you'll find that Rangers coming out with the knowledge that they are underdogs, as it were, in this final. I think you'll probably find that they'll make a determined start to the game. Aberdeen, on the other hand, I would expect to be that wee bit more calm and that wee bit more composed at the start. That tends to be their style. I think with playing McMaster to the exclusion of Weir probably means that they intend just tighten up a wee bit, and particularly in the early stages of the game.
So an important start, Jock, obviously. I often think the first 20 minutes can be pretty critical in a cup final.
I think it's imperative, as it always is in a cup final, who gets the first goal. And if Aberdeen get the first goal, then Rangers have got a real fight in their hands. But if Rangers get the first goal, I think that must be their idea, to go forward and get a quick goal. That would be my thinking anyway. To get Aberdeen settled, I would feel that there are a lot of young lads there, and as I said earlier on, Rangers have been over the hill before, and they have a chance of doing this at Hampden, because the fact that they feel they're underdogs through injuries and different things that's happened in the season, I would feel that Rangers must go for the first goal.
Yes. Billy, the point was made during the week by Alec Ferguson that he hoped that this match would in fact be something of showpiece climax to the season. Despite all the things that we think sometimes are wrong with the game, it's been a marvellous season in so many ways. Yeah. And I think Alec's plea was a really a genuine one, which I think John Gregg endorsed too, to make it a good game.
Well, I think you always want your cup final to be a spectacle. Looking at the crowd from here, it looks as though they've got a good crowd, and it certainly seems to be the type of weather that you'd expect for a cup final. And I would go along with what Fergie has said, that you do want your good players to be able to play. And obviously, part and parcel of that means the early stage of the game, that he'll be wanting Strachan to get early touches of the ball. He'll want McMaster to slow the ball down for him and make a pass or two. And he'll be banking on the calmness and the assurance, perhaps, of his more experienced players to help calm the younger players on the side. From John's point of view, I think that, bearing in mind that they've lost Johnson, I think they'll be having a go early in the game to try and maybe have the uncertain effect in Aberdeen, trying to carry the ball into Aberdeen's half and trying to maybe put pressure on the back players.
It's been a disappointing season for Rangers, Jock, watching the results from England, doing well, winning the League Cup. And John Gregg himself has said that it's been a little bit disappointing in the league, not getting the consistency they want. Obviously, this is a chance, though, for him to put that kind of worry behind him and tell the players to go out and enjoy it. Dare a manager say that to players on Cup final day?
Well, I think you have to enjoy your football at any time when you're playing, at any time in the season. And Rangers have had an up and down season this year by the standards that they've set themselves, and by the standards they need. And if you look at their gates, that's enough to make it know it's a up and down season. But they have a chance of doing a double. and that's a big chance. And it's their last chance this year to really go and perform and get the fans back with them and give their fans something to shout about. But it's also Aberdeen's last chance.
Yes,
And Aberdeen have the feeling that the world is at their feet and that things are going to happen for them, and Rangers are a wee bit defensive at this particular time and moment. They're mentally defensive. But I still have this instinctive feeling that Rangers are going to go out there and have a real go, and a bit correspondingly Aberdeen, if they go over this first night's 10 minutes time, then I think they could carry the game, and it'd be I'm looking for a tremendous game. I'm looking for a good, hard game. Last Saturday result at Aberdeen is nothing to go by. This is another game. It's another cup final medal they're fighting for. I think that it's going to be a tactical battle in depth in the first 20 minutes, and whoever wins that, I think, can win the cup.
Fascinating thought. Well, I think we'll go back out to Jock Brown now out at Hampden Park and perhaps talk about the role of referee Brian McGinley in this particular match. A lot of pressure on Brian McGinley here, Jock, but clearly if there's one referee who can cope with it, it must be him.
Oh, indeed. I think Brian McGinley is the ideal man for a Scottish Cup final. He's already done 2 before. He did the final in 1978 between the two sides when Rangers won 2-1. And he's still something of a mascot to Rangers in the sense that he refereed the 1979 final. Remember the 3 matches against Hibs, and Brian McGinley did the first 2 before he had to go out to the Far East in an earlier commitment, leaving Ian Foote to do that final. But he's had 6 years on the FIFA list. He's 36 years old, and I think in the eyes of most people renowned as one of the top 2 or 3 referees in the country, and certainly renowned for his discipline.
Excellent. Well, the pictures look absolutely superb. We made the point earlier, Jock, and you'll have had a chance to get a close-up, that the groundsman, Mr. Doherty there, consistently seems to turn out the most remarkable playing surfaces. And I know that when we were out doing our cup final previews, we were absolutely amazed at the quality of a pitch which has had a full season with Queen's Park and Queen's Park Strollers and all those other Hampden sides. The pitch does look remarkably good, Jock.
Yes, that's absolutely right, Arthur. I think people don't quite appreciate how much play there is in Hampden, because they come here for big matches and expect to see a good playing surface. But really, when you consider that Queen's Park are playing so regularly, and the Strollers, practice matches and so forth, it really is a remarkable tribute to the ground staff here that the pitch looks so well. Only the bare patches in the goalmouths, and that's very much to be expected. But apart from that, it really is first class. There's a stiff breeze blowing, mind you, and that brings into question the Hampden swirl, which gets a lot of mention on these occasions. But certainly there is a breeze which may play a part, particularly in the early stages.
Has Dennis Law joined you in the box there, Jock?
Dennis is sitting right here.
I just wonder
to see him on the field.
I just wonder what Dennis thinks of the grand old lady of Scottish football, the stadium here, a pitch that he has graced so many times. Perhaps a quick comment from Dennis might be appropriate there, just before the teams come out and we hand back to you finally, Jock.
Well, Arthur, of course, considering there are so many games played here at Hampden Park, the pitch looks absolutely magnificent. I was on it earlier on, about 2 hours ago, and apart from being a slightly bit bumpy in areas, it really is in remarkable condition at the end of the season. And of course, the 2 teams will be coming out shortly, and if they can't play in this pitch at this time of the season, then they really can't play anywhere.
Obviously a lot of pressure on the players. We talked about this first 20-minute tactical battle, and Jock Wallace was making the point that in fact last week's 4-0 defeat really can be discounted, and I think as the teams come out we'll hand back to you for a final thought about that, and just get your own final countdown and perhaps a forecast from you, Dennis, before you and Jock take it up.
Do me a favour, a forecast at this stage of the game? No way.
That's what's known as a diplomatic answer. Right, we'll be joining you again at we'll be listening to you, of course, throughout the match, Dennis, and we'll be picking up our own comments here in the studio at half-time. But for the commentary on the match and to describe the pre-match scenes, it's over now to Jock Brown and Dennis Law at Hampden Park.
Thanks again, Arthur. And the sides have now taken the field, as you can perhaps tell by the flags waved behind the goal to our right, where most of the Aberdeen supporters have congregated. There's the Rangers line-up. Very smart tracksuit tops. And the side led out by John Gregg, with the Aberdeen side led out, of course, by their manager, Alec Ferguson. So there's the Aberdeen side, going right along the line there towards Captain Willie Miller, and manager Alec Ferguson looking remarkably relaxed in all the circumstances, but this is a very big match indeed for Aberdeen, a big disappointment perhaps in the league championship, although I think they might have considered themselves out of the race early on, but they came back, they came so close in the league, and the Scottish Cup is their only target for the season now. Alec Ferguson really is looking remarkably relaxed out there. John Gregg looking a little bit more tense, and of course it is a very important match indeed for Rangers. Criticised in many quarters throughout this season for not living up to the reputation which they've come to expect, and again they won the League Cup way back earlier in the season. A disappointing league season and the chance to go out with a flourish now. So going right down the line, John McClelland there, the Northern Ireland international, stretching himself. He's playing in his first Scottish Cup final. Down through Alec Miller, Jim Bett, John McDonald, Davy Cooper looking relaxed. Pinch the figure of Bobby Russell, Tom McLean relaxed, and Colin McAdam joining Tom McLean on the substitutes bench. And there's the referee, Brian McGinley of Balfron. He's 36 years old, refereeing his third Scottish Cup final, and a very experienced official indeed. Flanked by his linesman, Mr. Douglas of Dundee on the left, and Mr. Hanley of Coatbridge on the right. Well, the presentation of the officials goes ahead. It's the SFA President, Willie Hartness, on the right, being presented to the sides. Danny Walker, the SFA Secretary, introducing the officials to the referee and his two linesmen. The massed bands still out in the field. The Royal Scottish Pipe Band Association, still a very impressive presence out in the middle of the field. Going right down to Alec Ferguson first of all, and then working their way along the Aberdeen players. There's Jim Layton, World Cup 40 of course, Stuart Kennedy, an experienced defender. Mark McGee come back to form late in the season. Young Neil Simpson. And a special word for Gordon Strachan, perhaps a reference to the World Cup to come. John McMaster, Doug Rugby, from John Hewitt. And that's Neil Cooper. He'll be the youngest player in the field this afternoon, just 18 years old. Alec McLeish, the Aberdeen and Scotland centre-half. And Derek Black, substitute. Doug Bell, also the Aberdeen substitute. And George Younger, the Secretary of State, is the man following Willie Hartness. Ray Simpson, the Rangers chairman. So the officials leaving the scene. Secretary for Scotland, George Younger, undoubtedly enjoying a sporting occasion this afternoon after the troubles of state. So as the officials disappear inside the tunnel, the teams break. On the near side we have Aberdeen, on the far side Rangers, as the pipe bands begin their march off the field and the tension mounts towards the kickoff. So the sun beating down here at Hampden after a lot of intermittent rain throughout the morning, which wouldn't have done the pitch any harm, I reckon. So the pipe band's departing slowly, the noise building up around the stadium. So let's take a look again at the Aberdeen lineup for the match this afternoon. Remember, Peter Weir, the most expensive player in the Aberdeen ranks, has been left out because of a doubt about his match fitness, and that leaves John McMaster wearing a number 4 jersey. He'll join up in midfield with Neil Cooper. There's John McMaster. Now, he played in the 1978 final against Rangers here. A big disappointment for him, of course, when Aberdeen lost 2-1. But McMaster recovering very well from a very serious injury sustained against Liverpool in the European Cup last season. And Neil Cooper is, as I say, the youngest player in the field. He'll play in midfield. A very powerful player for one so young, and a man who caught the eye earlier this season of Franz Beckenbauer when Aberdeen played against Hamburg. So obviously that's a tribute from one of the highest sources imaginable. So there's the Rangers lineup again. No Derek Johnston, of course, no Ian Redford, and he's their most expensive signing at $210,000 from Dundee a couple of years ago, so that gives places to Gordon Dalziel and Alec Miller. But it is a very big occasion for one particular Rangers player, and that's their centre-half, Colin Jackson. 35 years old, he's already got 3 Scottish Cup medals, and today he plays his last match for Rangers after 19 seasons service. There's Jim Stewart in goal, and the Rangers players now stripping off the tracksuit tops. And the Rangers' youngest player this afternoon will be centre forward Gordon Dalziel. He's a Bonkle Youth Club product, Scored a hat-trick recently against Dundee for Rangers after making that very impressive debut in the Old Firm match at Celtic Park earlier in the season, when he handed all 3 Rangers goals in that memorable 3-3 draw. Jim Stewart, the Rangers goalkeeper, has forced his way into the World Cup 40 after his signing from Middlesbrough for £115,000 last year. And Jim Leighton also in the Scottish World Cup squad after 57 matches for Aberdeen this season and 28 shutouts. So it's Aberdeen who will set the game in motion. The atmosphere absolutely electric all around Hampden Park. Mark McGee and John Hewitt over the ball. And the 97th Scottish Cup final is underway. Gordon Strachan's first involvement in the match, ending in a throw to Rangers. It'll be interesting to see, of course, where Rangers deploy their forces in particular. I wonder if Alec Miller may have a marking job in Gordon Strachan. We'll have to wait and see. Here's Jim Bett. There's Andy Jardine. Very experienced player indeed, playing in his 9th final. He's already won 5 medals, winners' medals. Now Ali Dawson, Rangers captain. McDonald. Wide to Miller, and that cross giving Jim Leighton no problems at all in the Aberdeen goal. Well, Dennis Law sitting beside me. It's only your 2nd Scottish Cup final. I think, Dennis, what are the early impressions of the atmosphere?
Well, of course, it is early impressions, and of course, in most games, and particularly a cup final, the first 10 or 15 minutes is very, very important indeed. And even though we've only been going a couple of minutes, Rangers have got off to a reasonably good start, but it is very early.
The Rangers have the advantage of the breeze in the first half. So that'll test Jim Leighton's ability to send away that dead ball. Bett touching that back. Miller looking for McDonald with the high ball, mopped up by McLeish. Now Kennedy. Stuart Kennedy has 8 Scotland caps. Forced his way back into international reckoning recently. This is Gordon Strachan. And Strachan taken late by Alec Miller. And that sets the tone perhaps for Alec Miller's role in the match. That's to keep Gordon Strachan as quiet as possible. Referee Brian McGinley taking a very stern view, as he really must in this cold run that's Hampden Park for the moment. But Miller is warned. Aberdeen have the free kick. Jackson and McGee jockeying for position. Kennedy's free kick. Jackson going for that, and he was bumped by McGee as he went for it, and the referee gives the free kick to Rangers. There's Mark McGee. He's got 14 goals throughout the season after a very slow start. Woodby's header. Simpson in powerfully, but that's Jackson's clearance. Now Kennedy for Aberdeen. And doing the chasing back was young Gordon Dalziel. Result is a throw to Aberdeen. Cooper playing that into space. McGee going for it rather late, but Jackson with him all the way. Gordon Strachan. Kennedy providing an option on the touchline. And again, Strachan goes down. This time the culprit is Ali Dawson. Dawson protesting his innocence. Referee Brian McGinley insisting on a hold-up so that he can make his feelings perfectly clear to Ali Dawson. And Aberdeen have the free kick. Strachan. McLeish is up. Oh, McLeish almost piercing the Rangers defence with that header. Oh, the free kick was lined up by Strachan. McLeish stealing in and getting to that comprehensively before the Rangers defence.
So that was a very good cross by Strachan, swinging away from the keeper. The keeper had no chance at all, and McLeish's header just over the bar.
So that will certainly give Aberdeen a lot of encouragement. There's McGee forcing his way forwards. Well, showing his willingness early on to have a go for goal. That was always rising over the top. So that's McGee at his best, driving in the Rangers defence, forcing his way through by skill and strength, with the final shot leaving something to be desired. McLeish coming up from McDonald. This time the free kick goes to Rangers. Well, the tense opening 5 minutes have come and gone. As Dawson lines up this free kick for Rangers. Miller heading it wide. Kennedy's clearance giving the throw to Rangers. Cooper playing that against Willie Miller to win the first corner kick of the match. And immediately the Rangers central defenders come forward. John McClelland, number 4, going into the box. Colin Jackson is behind him. Cooper's corner kick, it's beaten Leighton, and Rookie is forced to turn it behind. Cooper absolutely deadly from these situations. The outswingers from the left and the in-swingers from the right, so McClelland now on the goal line. Jackson being marked by McLeish, the two number 5s together. Davy Cooper. Swirling under the bar, Leighton in trouble again. And again, Aberdeen forced to head that behind. It was McLeish, I think, who turned it behind with Jackson coming in. So Rangers applying a lot of pressure from these corner kicks, and Jim Leighton perhaps not as happy as he might have been with these first 2 cross balls. The breeze certainly posing some problems, the wind swirling in on Leighton's goal. John McDonald going for the short one, Rangers varying the pattern again. Jackson climbing on the back of Rugby, and the pressure goes off the Aberdeen defence.
Well, that was 2 very good corners by Rangers, by Cooper, and of course you can notice who headed them away from Aberdeen was McLeish and Rugby. And of course I haven't seen a great deal of Rangers, but when you look at the 2 front runners, McDonald and DL, you will notice that really you can put the ball in the air, and I'm sure that Rangers will find, apart maybe from corners, that they'll play it along the ground.
Davy Cooper has crossed over to the Rangers left. McLeish finding Strachan. That same for Cooper. They've got a pace to get to that before Russell. McClelland's header. And Bet finding Jordan. Strachan doing the hustling. Great play from Strachan. He's fouled late there by Bet. So that promising Aberdeen move is halted. The referee deciding that that foul by Jim Bet was so serious he had to stop the match. And the yellow card is shown to Bet. There's Strachan now, winning the ball from Jordan, playing it wide. You just see the tackle coming in at the corner of the picture there from Jim Bet. So referee Brian McGinley completes the bookwork for Bet. Master running over the top of the free kick. Strachan fighting it in, but a misunderstanding, although Stewart did 2 grabs at that, and Rugby was in heavily when he saw Stewart fumbling it. There it is again, Strachan fighting it forward. It should have been easy for Stewart, just a momentary fumble, and that gave Rugby the incentive to make the challenge. Spinning away from DL. Now Stuart Kennedy. Dawson watching that very carefully as he had to, but robbed now by McGee. There's McMaster trying the return pass, which Jackson clears. Kennedy playing that forward. It's easily picked out by Dawson. And now McDonald. Miller. Bit. Cooper screaming for it on the right. Checking inside Rugby. The Aberdeen captain Willie Miller playing it to his principal midfield playmaker Gordon Strachan. That's a fine pass wide to Kennedy. He's found space to use that tremendous pace on the right. And very coolly robbed by Dawson. Now McDonald. The Aberdeen players putting a lot of pressure on Rangers in that Rangers half. McLeish coming forward. Timely interception by John McClellan, but signs now that Aberdeen are beginning to settle.
Yes, they are, and of course the key player on the Aberdeen side is Gordon Strachan, who unfortunately has been down 2 or 3 times, and Rangers have got to be careful that they don't get any more bookings, because they could land with less than 11 men.
Here's Strachan again showing his menace for the Rangers defence, stopped that time by McClellan. Miller for Rangers. Now Cooper has been given this roving commission up front for Rangers. Been given licence to go all over the field by manager John Gregg. We hope that he can produce a performance similar to the one which destroyed Dundee United in the replay last year. John McClellan, one of only 2 Rangers players without previous Scottish Cup final experience, the other being Gordon Dalziel. Jordan lofting it forward, and McLeish winning that comprehensively from Dalziel. McDonald. Cooper playing that for Russell. And Miller catching Russell late, concedes the free kick. It's another moment of anxiety for Jim Layton in the Aberdeen goal as Cooper lines up this free kick. Towards Jackson on the far side, and Jackson doing a bit of pushing on McLeish. The free kick is given, but again Jackson showing his menace for the Aberdeen defence. There's the free kick coming across. Jackson getting to that powerfully, but penalised for pushing McLeish. Jackson scored many an important goal for Rangers. He'd love to do so in his last big match for the Ibrox club. Yell is miscuing that pass, and Cooper distracted. Cooper's got some room in the middle of the field as the Rangers players clustered round Strachan. No chance for McMaster to reach that, but a throw in, I think. Neil Cooper has made his presence felt in the midfield already. Now Simpson. Kennedy with acres of space on the right. Slipping at the wrong moment. Now Strachan. Beautiful close control again from Strachan. Now Kennedy. Disappointing cross from Kennedy ends that promising Aberdeen attack.
Yes, it was an awful cross, really. But you can see, again, little Strachan, even in these opening minutes. And it's very unusual that a player settles down so quick. And, you know, it's the occasion of the final. It's very difficult for players to play the normal game. And Strachan is the danger for Aberdeen. Cooper in these opening minutes looks the danger for Rangers.
And Jackson showing still a lot of spring in these 35-year-old legs. Aberdeen waiting for Rugby to come and deliver a long throw. No, he's content to play it short. To McGee. Dawson's clearance. Good play from McDonald, but Cooper got back very quickly to support his defence. Now Stuart Kennedy. Good layoff by Hewitt, the path of Strachan. Cooper playing it wide. there. Well, that's his less powerful foot to the right, and posing no problems for Jim Stewart. Forcing back to the Rangers right for Cooper. Well, off and he's won things again, Davy Cooper. That's a good pass to Miller. Now DL finding space at the corner of the box. That's a great early cross. John McDonald. A marvellous opening goal for Rangers. 15 minutes gone. Rangers get the start they wanted so badly. And a marvellous goal at that. Gordon Dale going on to that pass from Miller at the corner of the box. Not taking any time, the early cross coming in. There was John McDonald steering it at the near post, and Leighton was left with no chance at all.
It really was a marvellous goal by Rangers, made by Cooper, getting the ball in his own half there. He waited and waited until he saw the man going through. A beautiful cross for McDonald to score a marvellous goal. Something, I suppose, a little bit unexpected, but really made by Cooper.
So there's John McDonald getting his 22nd goal of the season. Master at the other end, being denied by Jim Stewart. So another cause for delight among the Rangers supporters, that piece of goalkeeping from Stewart. There was McMaster, he appeared to have a chance there, but Stewart coming out and stretching to take that ball away from him. Well, that start really has had the crowd on their feet. The opening 20 minutes, I think, by common consent, crucial, and John McDonald has given Rangers a very big advantage now with that great headed opening goal. Started by this man, Davy Cooper, from a very similar position. Picking out Charlie Dawson. Well, the Rangers choir now in full voice. And Aberdeen now finding out what a difficult side Rangers are to overcome in a Scottish Cup final. There's the Rangers supporters behind Jim Stewart's goal. And no wonder they're so delighted. Here's DL. Again, a vital part he played in that goal. Back to Bet. Now Russell. Cooper again, finding space, having to come deep to do it. Now Jordan. Leighton coming for that. Kennedy now to McLeish. No Strachan. Master picking up position on that left touchline. Would be going fast to offer an alternative, but Jackson attacking that ball in front of Hewitt. Willie Miller for Aberdeen. Simpson trying to make something of that, and Dawson remaining calm to police the ball behind the goalkeeper.
I'm sure the Aberdeen manager, Alex Ferguson, will be asking himself regarding a goal, you know, where was the left-back Rugby? Because when DL crossed it, the left-back was nowhere there, and then he's got to ask the question, where were the central defenders when McDonald headed the ball into the net?
So there's Rugby. He'll compete to the end for sure, but now an uphill struggle for Aberdeen. Good play from Rugby. Just over carrying the ball, and that'll be Rangers' throw. Sandy Jordan looking for movement. Gets it from Russell, and that was a hefty tackle by McMaster, resulting in the free kick to Rangers. Sandy Jardine, a man who's seen it so often before in Scottish Cup finals, lines up the free kick. DL on the move up front. Bet going into a forward position, followed as ever by Neil Cooper. Now McDonald. Now Willie Miller wants the throw, but he won't get it. Having a word to say to the linesman. Russell to Jardine. There's Bet. Appeals for offside, but clearly not given. Rangers now in full try. There's Dawson. And Cooper spotted that dangerously enough to come and block the shot. 20 minutes on the clock. Rangers leading by 1-0, and beginning to look more and more confident with every passing minute.
Well, Aberdeen will have to be careful that they don't let the goal upset them too much, because Rangers they've got that lead, they're going for a second goal. Well, Aberdeen have got to get their composure back, don't let it affect them if they can.
And the defence closing in on John Hewitt. Gale to Bet. And Miller. Ball finding its way back to Miller. And McDonald easily beaten that time by Kennedy. Well, Strachan came short for that ball from Rugby, and Rugby trying a long ball, completely miskicked. And the body checked by Strachan and Cooper. Gives Rangers another free kick. Well, Strachan certainly enjoying the occasion. Cooper to Bet. Well, I haven't quite got hold of that left foot effort. Bet has scored a lot of goals for Rangers from shooting positions around the box. And they'll be continuing to look for these throughout the match. Jackson's header, returned by Miller. Dawson for Rangers. That time by Willie Miller. Now Rugby. Trying to play that in behind the Rangers' right flank in the defence for Hewitt to exploit his pace. Rugby penalised. Coming in heavily behind Davy Cooper.
Aberdeen have got to be very careful. We've seen in the last 5 minutes how Rugby in particular has been cutting out the midfield and trying to find the front runners. I think they've got to go back and keep giving the ball to little Strachan in midfield, because if there is a danger man, then he certainly is. He can get the forwards going, he can get the people also going to the flank. So Aberdeen have got to get back to the system of supplying the midfield.
In that midfield area, Gordon Strachan appears to have moved into the middle, leaving Simpson to cover the right flank. Alec Miller for Rangers. There's Bet, Jardine falling for it. Cooper coming deep again, inviting Rugby to come into the tackle. And a bad luck there for DL. Maybe just nipping that away from Jackson. McMaster now, forward for Hewitt. McClellan trying to get back. Imposing his physique on Hewitt. Played back to Stewart. That's a bad ball from Cooper, easily picked out by Rugby. Now Hewitt. Leaving it to McMaster. McGee trying to get in behind Jackson. And in the centre half, remaining very calm indeed to play that back. The Rangers too trying to start to build up from deep positions. Might have been handball by McDonald, but play is waved on. And Cooper's deadly left foot picks out Ali Dawson. Now Jarvin. Cooper still available. Sidestepping Rugby. There's too much space in the cross, but Davy Cooper really has posed so many problems already for Aberdeen, Dennis.
Yes, he has, and we can see, of course, he's got tremendous skill. He's got a great left foot. The Rangers at the moment are playing it right. They're knocking the ball to the flank. But when you look at the central defenders of Aberdeen's defence, it's obviously going to be very difficult in the air for Rangers. So what they're doing the best thing, is get into the flanks and getting balls over, which makes the defence turn. That is really the correct way to play.
Now striking for Aberdeen. Carrying it through the middle. Good tackle from Jackson on McGee. And now Russell. Stopped by referee McGinley, and the pass to McMaster. Far too far ahead of Mark McGee. So 25 minutes on the clock. Aberdeen 0, Rangers 1. Scorer John McDonald in 15 minutes. There's a goal scorer. Headed on by Cooper, but a little bit content to play that back to Leighton. McDonald following through on the goalkeeper. That long ball from Dawson into no man's land. The Aberdeen defence pushing forward, bringing the Rangers forwards with them. Eric McLeish. Kennedy. Dawson helping that on to Yale. McLeish for Aberdeen. Well, a rare failure by Strachan to control it properly, but McLeish recovers it. Simpson taken from behind by John McClelland. So this time it's Aberdeen's free kick. In a position from which they've created some danger earlier in the match through Alec McLeish. The rugby number 3 also going into the box. Two Rangers central defenders marking them. Master and Strachan over the ball. Strachan flighting it in. Too high for McLeish. Rugby turning it back. Acrobatic clearance from Jackson, falls straight at the feet of McMaster. And so does that header from Miller. Now McGee's offside. Well, that was a very tight decision. Mark McGee disagrees strenuously with the far side linesman. So there's the lofted pass from McMaster. McGee going in behind McClelland, but the flag was up instantly and the referee took the decision. Willie Miller, the Aberdeen captain, who's won a league championship medal and a Scottish League Cup winners medal, trying to complete the set. Strachan back to McLeish. Strachan wants it again. Unfortunate slip for Simpson. And Cooper and Bet clashing. Cooper committing a foul. Rangers get the free kick. So Bet operating right in the middle of the field for Rangers, in the same area as Neil Cooper for Aberdeen. Jackson's free kick. Determined play from Willie Miller. Well, he was looking for Strachan on the left. David Cooper's hustling, denying Rugby the chance to make an accurate pass. Good return pass from Bet to Cooper. Now McDonald. Would be now to Hewitt. Cooper. Running powerfully out of midfield. As usual, Kennedy popping up on the right. Hewitt's the only man in the box for the moment. Rugby arriving late. Charging into the back of Sandy Jordan. Now Jordan took a hefty knock in the back of the head there. That was a bit of dangerous play by Rugby, which I think will result in some wrath from the referee. There's the far-flung ball. Jordan getting there long before Rugby. Rugby coming in behind him. So Jordan still on the deck, catching the full force of Doug Rugby in the back of his head. So the half-hour mark arrives. Rangers with that vital one-goal lead. And now the referee quite fairly allowing a lot of time for Sandy Jordan. These head knocks must be treated with care. So the latest position from Wembley in the FA Cup final between Tottenham and Queen's Park Rangers is 0-0. There's the scoreline. And Doug Rugby is in fact booked by referee McGinley, clearly for dangerous play. That was a little bit clumsy, I think, Dennis.
Yes, slight bit, and I can understand sometimes in the heat of the moment, and particularly in the cup final, and you're down 1-0. Rugby going for the cross, but certainly from up here it looked as though Sandy Jordan had got it easily, and Rugby came in very late. But I think the referee has done the correct thing in booking him. But I must say, Rangers are not letting Aberdeen settle down at all, as we saw a few misplaced passes, particularly one by Miller, and that really is because Rangers players are getting up at them and not allowing them the time. Well, Aberdeen have got to get that, and got to stretch it.
There's that incident again from behind the goal, the cross coming on in. Jordan is there in plenty of time. There's Rugby arriving late. And that's why we've had such a lengthy hold-up in play. There's Jordan down. And now Jordan has recovered. Well, he must be a very strong man indeed, because that was a very severe blow in the back of the head. No doubt Rangers bench will be watching him very carefully in the next few moments to see if he has in fact fully recovered. With John Hewitt. Strachan taking that back from referee McGinley. Masters first time cross cleared by Jackson to Rugby. Now Kennedy taking on Miller for pace towards the byline. The corner kick is given. Kennedy thinks he might have had a free kick, I think. Still protesting to referee McGinley. So Robert Russell guarding this near post. Alec McLeish in the box, marked by Jackson. Hewitt with a kick. Jackson steers, charged down, and a good tackle by Bet. McLeish! Now that is a magnificent goal from Alec McLeish. Inspired play from the Aberdeen centre half. There's the corner kick from Hewitt. The initially from Jackson was blocked. Bet did a fine job there. Now just look at McLeish. He looks up, picks his spot, bends that in at the far post, and that is a goal to remember. So the jubilation behind the Aberdeen goal this time. Let's look at that again.
Yes, and of course McLeish says he got the bounce of the ball, of course, but when he picks it up here, he certainly looks up, sees that the goalkeeper is off his line, and right-footed bends it round the goalkeeper into the top of the net. What a marvellous goal.
Well, now we have a Scottish Cup final to savour. Alec McLeish showing the touch of a very skilled, talented forward player with that goal. McLeish has only scored 5 times before this season, mostly from set pieces, obviously in the box from headers, but I'm sure that's a goal he'll always treasure. Time with just 33 minutes on the clock, so 12 minutes left of the first half. And Aberdeen heading back in the best possible fashion to give their supporters who've travelled so far a major lift. Now Cooper coming in from the right. Finding Miller. This is how Rangers' goal arrived. And the positioning of Leighton good enough to make that look easy. Jordan still looks a bit groggy after that head knock. Clenching his teeth there. McMaster's free kick. There's Jackson getting in front of McGee. Now McMaster, that's beyond Hewitt. So 10 minutes of a highly entertaining first half left. McDonald and McLeish coming across. Well, now that with a little bit of aggravation we could have lived without. Perhaps an exchange of words that we couldn't hear anything about, but Rugby just bumping McDonald with his shoulder there after that tackle. Referee McGinley making things perfectly clear. So Bet. Number 8 is Neil Cooper. Bet being denied any space at all by Cooper, but Rangers have the throw. Now Cooper. Stopped well by Kennedy. There's Neil Simpson. Lost his header. Referee allowing advantage, I think. Cooper appeared to bump Bet from behind. The flag is up on the near side against John McDonald.
I think the referee McGinley has done a marvellous job up to now. He's certainly booked the correct players, because there's been a lot of niggling fouls going on throughout the game, as we saw there with McLeish. Now this is the Scottish Cup final, and I think it's an arena to show your skills more than anything. I think we cut out the niggly fouls. You've got to tackle in the game. It is a physical game, but cut out the niggly little fouls and get on with playing the game.
So some praise there from Dennis Law for referee Brian McGinley. And that's an offside decision back midway inside the Rangers half. John McDonald wants involved again. Jackson's free kick. Cooper at full stretch. Rugby helping out. Good play. Strachan to McMaster, then Simpson. Kennedy. Strachan's been a long run into that forward position. Ball gathering pace off the surface to go behind for the goal kick.
Yes, it might have been a bad ball at the end, but really that is the type of ball and the type of position that Strachan loves to get into, and of course very dangerous for defences. McLeish commanding in the air at the back for Aberdeen until that little flick on from DL. Now McDonald. This time Rugby closing in well from the left back position to take the heat out of that. Nice touch there from Gordon DL. Cooper's header down, picked up by Russell. Now Cooper. And Rugby couldn't quite keep that in, but judged the initial tackle well. Clearance from Rugby picked up by Jordan. John McDonald. Completion in front of Yale. Hewitt. Retaining possession well. McGee on the run with Dawson. And the Rangers captain holding off Mark McGee well to send that back to Stewart.
So Sandy Jordan back in the wars. So the happy band of Aberdeen supporters, more than 20,000 have made the trip from the north, and much relieved no doubt to see Alec McLeish equalising that early John McDonald goal. But a sadder side out in the field is still Sandy Jordan's position. There's a goal scorer for Aberdeen, Alec McLeish. But Sandy Jordan taking his second headlock in a very short period of time. So 5 minutes of the first half left. Aberdeen 1, Rangers 1. McLeish for Aberdeen, McDonald for Rangers. Jordan fit enough to take the free kick. Good header that time from Rugby. Now Cooper. A buzz of anticipation among the Rangers supporters when Cooper gets possession. So far in the match, that's been perfectly well justified. Betts, first time little layoff to Russell. Jordan stealing into position. Tackle from Kennedy was a good one. Kennedy making a precious intrusion to the left side of the Aberdeen defence. And now Strachan on the break. A lot of support arriving. Strachan doing it by himself. And that appeared to come off the right hand of Jim Stewart down the post. There's Strachan again. He had McGee in the right, he left eye. Touched onto the post there by Stewart. Great piece of play from Strachan. And a good save indeed from Jim Stewart. So it's Aberdeen's corner kick taken by Strachan. The header in there by Rugby, but getting a deflection off McClelland. Referee Brian McGinley waving aside any suggestion of dissent among the Rangers players. So as half-time approaches with Rugby, that near post. That's aimed for him, and a bit of pushing. I think it was by Mark McGee, in fact. He's getting a word of warning. So that little bit of Aberdeen pressure ends.
Yes, I think a letter for both sides, really. I think the referee made the right decision there regarding the supposed penalty for Rangers when Jardine got pulled down. But of course, on the break, Jardine out of position, Strachan right through there. A good save by Stewart, but a bit fortunate that it hit the post.
Well, that score flash on Wembley showing that the supporters there aren't quite so fortunate as the big crowd at Hampden. So scoring at Wembley between Queen's Park Rangers and Spurs. One each here at Hampden. And a free kick to Aberdeen. Played wide to Kennedy. Rugby racing into the box at the far post. Jackson winning that one. Make sure there was no malice in that. So 2 minutes of the first half left as John McClelland takes that free kick for Rangers. There's Alec Miller. Will Simpson penalised. Into space there by McClelland, but Cooper had come very deep indeed for a short square pass, so Aberdeen mopping that up. That certainly didn't go where Colin Jackson intended. It's Aberdeen's goal. To challenge McClelland, but they should have had little chance. McClelland's interception again. Ryan Miller misjudging the bounce of that ball. Handles, and will he be booked? We'll have to wait and see. Referee Brian McGinley calling the Aberdeen skipper to him. Well, exercising a little bit of discretion, not taking out the yellow card. I think recognising that it was spontaneous on the part of Miller. So we're into the final half minute of the first half. McLeish's header picked up by Russell. Now Davy Cooper. Jordan going past on the overlap. So the first half, 45 minutes have come and gone. We're into extra time added on for the injury to Sandy Jordan. John Gregg in the Rangers dugout. Can't be too unhappy, I think, with the first half display from Rangers. Alec Ferguson also relieved, I think, to be back in the match so quickly after going behind. Here's Strachan now for Aberdeen. Stuart Kennedy. McClellan getting above John Hewitt. Referee McKinley's been checking his watch. There was a long delay for treatment to Sandy Jordan, so there could be a bit of time to be added on in this first half. Bet turning that away from Hewitt to DL. Cooper takes it back from DL. A tackle from Neil Cooper. So 1 minute of injury time gone, and Aberdeen coming forward again. Strachan. McClellan then quickly on Hewitt. And there's the half-time whistle.
Half-time here in the Scott Sport Cup final studio, and let's get a quick reaction from Jock Wallace and Billy McNeill. A very entertaining first half, I think you'd probably both agree.
I think so. I thought that, to be honest with you, the start went really predictably in the sense that Strachan made his talents obvious earlier on. He was getting early tackles on him, but in fairness to Rangers, they stayed with it. And the first goal they scored, or the goal that they scored, was magnificent,
Yes.
wasn't it?
Let's take a look at this one, Billy, and get you both to talk about it, because it was, I heard you both at the time compliment the players involved in
Yes.
what was a particularly good build-up.
Well, Cooper's done the right thing. He's gone and attacked, and he puts a nice ball through McDonald. What a lovely early ball to the young lad. And he does the right thing, plays it in early, and whatever else this wee fella McDonald has got a nose for putting the ball in the net.
I thought it was a great move, and I thought it was Miller that put it through for Dale after Cooper had taken the man. And this ball back into the box is about the only way you can open this defence up. And they've done it on the ground play and fed the ball across the box. It's a great header.
Oh,
it's a great goal. I mean,
everything about it's good, isn't it?
there's nothing, nobody can say anything bad about that goal. It is a good goal.
Excellent. So Rangers looked very much in the driving seat at that point, but then came Aberdeen's equaliser, and a wee touch of class here from Alec McLeish.
Yes, Aberdeen's always dangerous at corner kicks. They utilise it well, but McLeish shows a real bit of individual skill here, doesn't he, for a defender?
See,
Tremendous skill.
I felt that the Rangers full-backs came off the lane a bit quick at the corner, and that was it didn't give the goal any cover at the particular time. And I think the left back should see it's Jardine at that near post. He's come off the line too quick.
That's a typical goalkeeper's reaction, Jock, isn't it? You're a goalkeeper, so you're protecting the goalkeeper. I'm a centre-half, and the centre-half's been different. Beautiful bit of skill,
the centre-half is a great goal. I mean, an absolutely great goal.
So the game very...
You used to score a lot of goals with your right foot. Roll your head, you're big double.
So the game nicely balanced, really,
I think it's been a great first half, Arthur, to be honest with you. It's what you expect out of a cup final in many ways. There's been hard tackles early on, and the referee has wisely booked a couple of players. But you know, McLeish has been evident early. He had one header over the bar, and I thought that his own personal skill there was great. He sized up the opportunity and played it in beautifully. But it's been a good game, and Rangers have probably performed an awful lot better than anyone anticipated.
Yes.
They've settled down. Earlier I felt they made one or two rash challenges on Strachan, but they've kept on control quite well more recently. And I think in Cooper they've got a player that's demonstrating that he wants to get a chance of doing something, and up to now he's done very well. It's
a match, Jock, where Davy Cooper has shown us that skill that he has.
Well,
but just before you answer, Jock, if I could apologise and interrupt you there, let's go straight across to IT. There they are, and just a very quick comment from Jock Wallace. I think we interrupted you the last time, Jock. Key players in the second half, we did mention Davy Cooper, I think, didn't we? And there's Tom McAdam, whom you mentioned earlier, Colin McAdam coming on for Rangers. That could be an interesting substitution.
Well, I felt that Davy Cooper and young Strachan run the game the first half, and the two men were in the build-up, Cooper and McLeish for the goals, and I felt that McLeish had two good chances and took one, and he scored a great goal at that particular time.
OK, off we go for the second half. Back to Jock Brown.
Thank you, Arthur. And Colin McAdam is lined up right on the halfway line, with Alec Miller going into Sandy Jardin's position at right back. So we'll see where Colin McAdam performs throughout the second half. He's the target for that long ball, challenging Alec McLeish. McAdam anxious to make his presence felt early on, obviously going to play in a forward position. And that foul given against DL, elbowing Stuart Kennedy. So the second half underway, and Rangers now setting off in an attempt to win their 25th Scottish Cup. And McGee going very quickly in on that. McMillan showing a lot of faith in Stewart's pace off the line. A discussion between McGee and McMillan there. It's played forward by Cooper, and DL is offside, or was it John McDonald? Positioning of the referee suggests it might well have been John McDonald. So it's Colin McAdam wearing number 12, who's now functioning in left midfield, the way Rangers have lined up. That's the change. Alec Miller, who was in that position in the first half, has gone to right back in place of Sandy Jardin, who obviously couldn't recover properly from that very severe head knock in the first half. But I've no doubt at all that Rangers will want to spring McAdam into the box as often as possible. So Miller driving that against Strachan. Rangers have the throw. On from Bet. Well, that appeared to be an off-break almost, the ball bouncing upwardly as it came towards Simpson, but in any event the referee deciding that McAdam's challenge in Simpson's unfair, so Aberdeen have the free kick. They go very quickly, there's Strachan going in again. Jackson's clearance. And it's become overcast suddenly here at Hampden. The sun has disappeared. The wind still blowing noticeably, as you can see from Gordon Strachan's hair. And this time Aberdeen have the advantage, if it is in fact any advantage. The one at the back is John Hewitt. Running straight into Alec Miller. Now McMaster. McGee beaten to that by McClellan. John McClellan gets the ball very quickly when these forward passes are made, makes it very tough for forward players. Good play from Neil Cooper initially, and Dawson and Simpson's tackle resulting in the throw to Aberdeen. McGee penalised for backing into McClelland. And there's another hold up here. There's a Rangers player down, looks like Alec Miller. And I can't indicate what happened to Miller, but he seems in some discomfort, and he's not known for lying down with any trivial knock. It's another moment of anxiety for Rangers, although they have a very experienced figure of Tommy McLean to come on. Should there be any lasting problem with Miller. There's Tommy McLean warming up. 54 years old, and has become involved in the coaching side of things in the last few months. But Miller will continue. And John McClellan takes the free kick for Rangers. McAdam's header picked up by McLeish, showing a lot of composure. Rookie playing it ahead. McGee was offside, the flag was up on the near side.
Well, we had a marvellous first half, two great goals, some very exciting play, and some good football, but the second half started slightly bit scrappy.
Flag up again for offside on the far side this time, and Aberdeen to the free kick. Yes, the team's going through a settling down procedure, I think, in the second half all over again. So we've had several crucial phases in the match so far. Rangers took the initiative with that early goal from John McDonald in 15 minutes. It looked as though they might go further ahead before Alec McLeish, with a moment of inspiration, pulled Aberdeen back in level terms on the 33-minute mark. At last, Kennedy could take that free kick. And I would say this was another very important period of the match, the first 15 minutes or so of the second half. Jackson's clearance carrying out for the throw to Aberdeen. The battle to seize the early initiative in the second half goes on. Marking in midfield is extremely tight. So free kick taken quickly. Simpson to Strachan. Checking inside Dawson. They still get Simpson available. Simpson almost getting that across the face of the goal, but John McClellan did well with his tackle to prevent an accurate cross. Standing off, allowing McMaster to take possession. This is Russell. Cooper snapping at his heels and snapping too fierce at his heels. Well, there's a look of intense determination in the face of Neil Cooper. Richard Layton. Cooper sends it in. Jackson got to it. He's applying enough pressure to prevent an accurate header. Cooper now running again at the Aberdeen defence. There's Bet. Good tackle from Simpson. The Rangers trying to keep the strain on the Aberdeen defence. There's Colin McAdam. That wasn't a bad effort coming off McLeish. McAdam showing his versatility once again. He was signed as a striker from Partick Thistle 2 years ago. He's played at centre half for Rangers and now operating in left midfield. Strachan stealing that from McClelland. And the man up is Stewart. Excellent tackle by Jackson. Put up by Russell. The flag is up. It's offside. It might well have been any one of Cooper, DL and McDonald. There's Gordon DL, but the positioning of the free kick suggests that it was Davy Cooper. McLeish has played with a lot of command in that Aberdeen defence, looking every inch an international player. After a spell of perhaps some indifferent form in the middle of the season, McLeish coming back to his best. And there's Rugby. Well, they certainly had very little on inside.
Well, the problem, Jock, really is that there's so many people in midfield. You've got something like 12 players in midfield there, all crowded, and making it very difficult for anybody to find anybody. And now we've seen two long back passes from Aberdeen. And, of course, the crowd don't like it. I don't think anybody likes it, but really, he had no choice.
Dawson playing it forward. Wells headed inside. Forcing Aberdeen again into the pass back, this time by Alec McLeish. Russell's header collected by Cooper. Well, there's Jackson popping up on the overlap on the right, playing a good pass to Bet. Good tackle from McLeish. And there's DL in position, and there was no flag there. That was a great chance for Gordon DL. John McDonald holds his head. Well, let's look at this again. At the far side, it's Russell playing it across. McDonald had the flying header, which missed, and there was Diel, and he was not flagged offside.
It was a good ball into the penalty area, and I must admit, again, we get a distracted view, but from up here, he certainly, DL, looked offside. But if he wasn't, then certainly a chance missed for Rangers.
Well, there might have been a tremendous reaction if DL had put that in the net, if it had stood. Jackson now back in defence after that little foray upfield. Strachan now being invited much nearer the corner flag. And it's Strachan again, taking it back from McGee. It's past McClelland. Not too much weight on the cross. Cooper relieving the pressure for Rangers. This is a very good run from Cooper. Well, he's taken a lot of strain off the defence. Allowed players to get forward. Let's head it out. It appeared to be barged there by Russell, but I think the decision is... No, it is a free kick, I think. No, Doug Rugby content to take the throw. Well, I looked as though it might have been a body check. There's Neil Cooper. Kennedy's first time header, cut off by Dawson. Kennedy recovering with his customary speed. Too delicate, that pass from Bet. Now it's Strachan. Halted by Russell. Now Kennedy. Strachan wants it short ahead of him. You see him still asking for it despite being closely marked. Far flung ball from McMaster. But he got up well above Alec Miller, but he couldn't get a lot of power behind the header. There's the cross going in from Simpson. McMaster did well to get to that. Again offside against both Diel and McDonald. So a hold up before this free kick can be taken. Number 12 on the track for Aberdeen is Doug Bell. The man he's replacing is John McMaster. So the close control, intricate skills of Doug Bell prefer the midfield now to McMaster. McMaster didn't really get into the match, didn't impose his presence too much in midfield. Let's see what Bell can do as Kennedy takes the free kick. It's Bell involved right away, but that's beyond Hewitt.
Well, that's the problem with having so many players in midfield. It's so crowded that you really have got to have that little bit of extra skill, the likes of Strachan's got and Cooper. I feel both teams at the present time are playing it a little bit wrong because it is so crowded in that area. They really should be looking to the both flanks to get that extra space and try and get behind each other's defence. Because in midfield and in the centre of the event, it's so packed, it's very difficult for anybody to make a pass without it being ricocheted off somebody else.
So McDonald easing Cooper off that high ball, giving Aberdeen the free kick. Miller's forward pass, mopped up by Alec Miller. Yes, it looks like stalemate in midfield at the moment. The game perhaps going through something of a lull compared with the fireworks in the first half. Well, that's an unusual sight. Good rugby sent spinning by about the smallest player in the field, John McDonald. Certainly the smallest player in the Rangers side. There's the replay again. Catch weight contest this, McDonald and Rugby. And McDonald sending the big man spinning. And Rugby not recovering very quickly either. Well, let's take another look. No, it's still Rugby getting attention. There it is behind the goal. McDonald going in heavily on Rugby. Rugby trying to play the ball beyond them and make a pass back to Leighton. So 15 minutes of the second half gone. The referee's had a word with John McDonald, there your picture. And Rugby appears to be restored to health.
Yes, and I think it's a sign of a little bit of frustration by McDonald, because Rugby is a big lad, but I just feel that the game hasn't flowed as we saw in the first half, and a little bit of frustration there.
Still stalemate 2 at Wembley, as you see from that scoreline. QPR 0, Spurs 0. And still here at Hampden Park, Aberdeen 1, Rangers 1. John McDonald. A good play from Russell, neatly sidestepping Cooper. And McPish again. The rock on which that Rangers attack founders. Strachan put under that intense pressure from both Russell and Beck, wins a free kick. Well, he's shown enormous confidence this afternoon, little Gordon Strachan. He's held the ball in the tightest of situations. He's asked for it all the time when he's been closely marked. Now McGee taking on McClellan on the run. He's got away from him. And McGee squeezing it in. No, that's chopped off. But McGee's joy is cut short. Pushing on John McClellan must be the decision. Let's have another look at that. There's the long ball through the middle. McClellan should have had that under control. A bit of jostling and pushing. McGee squeezing it at the post, but the whistle had gone. And that's a goal chopped off.
Yes, and I felt it, as I say, in the second half, there's been a few niggly little fouls when really there didn't have to be. And that was a perfect example for me. I think if McGee hadn't attempted to hit McClellan, then he'd have got the bounce anyway. And I think it was just a sign that it's catching on to everybody. But certainly, I feel, a chance missed for Aberdeen.
So let's off for Rangers, and they're trying to cash in now through Russell and Cooper. The tackle this time from Doug Bell on Cooper. So it's becoming a bit of a spoiling title match now. Now, is this just a bit too far out, perhaps, with maybe Cooper? Well, we've not said that before and would regret it. So Leighton is certainly showing no signs of complacency. And Aberdeen showing the respect for Davy Cooper with a 5-man wall augmented on the flank by DL and McDonald. There's Dawson. And the referee, in fact, giving offside against John McDonald, who almost got a touch to that shot from Dawson. Look at replay, the short ball played square to Dawson. You could see McDonald, he almost got to that, but although the flag wasn't up on the far side, the referee gave the decision anyway. Strachan to Kennedy. Neil Cooper. See how tight it is at the edge of that box. Here's Strachan again, trying to find a way through. McGee taking on Miller, and that wasn't so very far away either. Well, McGee has certainly produced some amazing goals from that situation, coming in from the flank, driving at Alec Miller and then letting go with the left foot, not going far wide of the upright. See how it looks from behind the goal with McGee. Strachan again, he started to find some space again in the last few moments. Good tackle that by Jackson on Simpson, but that time he appeared to leave the ball alone and steer the man off the ball, so this time Aberdeen get the free kick and Colin Jackson will get a lecture. Perhaps with a bit of retaliation by Jackson. He felt that Simpson had gone in heavily on him. He made a very good tackle initially, that was a good tackle. Then Simpson coming back, and you can see clearly Jackson leaving the ball alone to play the man. So a good decision by referee Brian McGinley, and that gives Aberdeen the opportunity for a little bit of creative magic outside the box. Woodby's in there at the far side. So Neil Simpson and Gordon Strachan over the ball, 3-man wall. Strachan looking for Kennedy. And Cooper did well for Rangers there, coming across to close down Kennedy. Strachan doing a defensive chore this time. The flag is up. Well, John Hewitt clearly disagrees, and that was a very close decision indeed. It looked as though that lobbed pass might well have left Hewitt onside. Let's check it again. There's the lofted ball now. Hewitt might well have broken from behind that line of defenders.
Yes, I certainly felt that when Miller knocked that high ball off, Hewitt had made the run after he had kicked the ball, and for me, certainly onside.
So here's Mark McGee. McGee again. McClellan has done a very good marking job for Rangers and out of the bench. They hadn't conceded the corner kick on that occasion. John Hewitt's gone out to take it. Woodley's in there. Hewitt fighting it across. Stewart in trouble and the header out from Russell. There's Bell. McGee teeing that up for Strachan. And that was an important tackle by Dawson. Now Rangers on the break through Bett. And that was John Hewitt using his pace to get back. This time the flag stays down. McGee is onside. Some of the Rangers players appear to stop. Well, Russell certainly didn't. Asking for offside, I think, and perhaps even for the throw. Cooper sending it in. Well judged clearance from Dawson. Well, it's a very difficult ball from McLeish towards Rugby. Rugby winkling that out of that difficult corner. So Aberdeen start all over again with the attack from William Miller. Now Hewitt getting in behind Dawson. Clearly onside that time. And just overcarrying it.
Well, Aberdeen, I feel, in the last 10 minutes have begun to get a little bit of grip on the game. And although they are missing out midfield on occasion, Hewitt in particular is making some good runs after the ball has been kicked. And again, made that break there, got behind the Rangers defence and was slightly unlucky for the ball to go for the goal kick. But that's the type of play that needs to be done if anybody's going to get a second goal.
Aberdeen doing well again in midfield. Look at the pace of Kennedy now towards the wide mid-ball line, and he cut back. Well, it came too late. Kennedy had gone over the byline. That's a good piece of play in midfield though, Dennis. Several players involved in the build-up. Simpson and Cooper and Strachan to get that clear.
Yes, and as I say, if you get on the flanks and get behind defenders, you have to make them turn. And if you ask any defender, what does he hate doing? He hates turning because people come in from blind sides, and of course 2 or 3 players could sneak up. And it's the likes of the runs by Kennedy when you don't expect a fullback to break, and of course he's not picked up. Again, unlucky that the ball went down.
Going to strike the L's hand. Yes, the referee has given the free kick, which has already been taken by Aberdeen. Kennedy. Simpson has spent most of the match at the right side of midfield. McClellan claiming that he was pushed by McGee, but it didn't matter anyway as Jackson was there. We're getting to that. Now Dawson needs to get closed down by Simpson and Strachan, but doing well to find Russell. That spot of wrestling by Bell, giving Rangers the free kick. Kind of in a forward position, as it has been for all the set pieces. Now Cooper. Well, clearly a foul there by Hewitt. Hewitt going back to help out Rugby. Now Rangers carry a lot of menace in this position. They've got McClellan, they've got Jackson, they've got Colin McAdam. Cooper to take the free kick. There's Russell. Well, he had open position there and he couldn't direct the header properly. This was an excellent chance, beautifully flighted in there by Cooper, found Russell all on his own. That's a very poor header from that situation.
Well, Hewitt in the first place, for me I can never understand players given a foul in a dangerous situation, knowing Cooper. Now Cooper sees Russell unmarked in the penalty area, and what a marvellous opportunity for the young boy to put Rangers ahead. But as I say, it's the likes of Hewitt who committed that foul, and particularly with Cooper taking the free kicks, he's got such a talented and deadly left foot that he could pick out anybody either with a chip or a strike driving across the ball, but he had the intelligence to see Russell unmarked in the penalty area. A let-off certainly for Aberdeen.
So McClellan with the free kick, which is won by McLeish. Russell doing well with that tackle on Bell. McDonald finding Bett in space. And a disappointing little chip. In fact, I think he'd overcarried the ball in any event. Bett's first real intrusion into a forward position for Rangers.
Yes,
there he goes, a lot of space there. Now, he really might have done better with this cross because he had time to look up. He certainly didn't overcarry it, but he sliced it behind. So there's a change again on the Aberdeen ranks. John Hewitt has gone off. He hasn't really had the best of afternoons, and the replacement is 18-year-old Eric Black. So striker for Aberdeen. Black's first touch, almost releasing Strachan. The Rangers have switched tactics to push McAdam alongside DL, with McDonald dropping back to left midfield. That allows them to change the pattern of their attacks with the big man front through the middle. It's a good ball there by McAdam. An interception from Kennedy. Strachan. The match beginning to boil up all over again. The sun comes out over Hampden and Aberdeen come forward. Neil Cooper. That's for Black, and he just mistimed his forward run. You can see him trying to hold up the sprint forward to stay onside. Just out of luck. So Black has the very important task of linking up with Mark McGee up front now. Made his debut in the first team way back in October and was just 18 in the same month. He already scored some vital goals. 4 in all for Aberdeen in the first team this season. Miller getting to that before BL. Showing good sleight of foot. And catching Bell going offside. Now that was quite close because Bell was making a forward run. He may have got a yard offside at the crucial moment. So that's offside as the Aberdeen defence came forward in unison. Approach the last 15 minutes of the match. Still Aberdeen 1, Rangers 1, and extra time becoming a real possibility. McClellan's headed away, it's picked up by Cooper. Well, it was a very hasty forward ball. McAdam thinking twice about any hefty challenge on Leighton. Simpson getting it forward. Bell back to Kennedy, now Strachan. A lot of Aberdeen players in the box. Well, that's all a bit untidy in there for the Rangers defence. There's Strachan. That's a great chance. With Eric Black scores perhaps the best chance of the match so far. Well, now let's take another look at that. Dawson in trouble. Strachan robs him. Makes a lot of pace going forward. The cross is there. There's Black. And how easily that could have been Aberdeen's second.
Well, little Strachan again doing well, getting to the byline. He's a lovely kicker of the ball. A bad miss by Blackie. What a shame, a young boy, probably inexperienced there. But again, as we said, that ball gets the defence turning, and I could assure you, no defence in the world could do anything about that type of ball.
So that chance perhaps falling a shade early to Eric Black. He's just on the field and perhaps not quite warmed up to the pace of the match. So he'll be hoping to make amends for that. Inside the last 15 minutes now, still the match finely balanced at 1 goal apiece, and 1 great goal apiece at that. There's McLeish for the clearance. And there's the clock showing the half-hour mark in the second half has been passed. Safely through to Jim Leighton for Aberdeen. Misjudged by Jackson. Black going in behind, and McClellan covering well, and there's the latest score from Wembley. Still 0-0 there between Queen's Park Rangers and Spurs. They haven't been as fortunate as we have to see 2 memorable goals. Now Rugby for Aberdeen. That's a good ball that towards Kennedy, I think, initially. Strachan has been an even better ball. The shot from McGee just going wide. That was a good build-up that time from Aberdeen. Swept across from the left from Rugby. Strachan took over, measured the pass for Kennedy. Now the driven early ball played by McGee. Just look how close that was.
Again, Strachan involved. He just waited the pass, as you say. A nice ball in by Kennedy. Again, the defenders, honestly, they hate that type of ball in there. And McGee, a bit unlucky to knock it past.
Head flick on from DL. McLeish going for that ball. It's bouncing awkwardly, and Cooper cashing in. Kennedy biding his time. Very cool to play it out. That Rangers have the corner kick. Well, now the action switches to the other end. Simpson, number 10, going onto that post. Jackson in the box. Conor McLean warming up behind the goal as Cooper takes this out swinger. Fine header in. Cordial it was, and the save from Jim Leighton was absolutely excellent. Check it again. There's Cooper's corner kick. Powerful downward header by DL. Leighton seeing it through a forest of players, doing very well. Now Miller for Aberdeen, the pace hotting up again. Black is onside, but Stewart in command. Austin going past Bell. John McDonald needs a run from a forward player. Coming very late from McAdam. McLeish engineering the throw. So we're into the nail-biting final period of the match, Dennis. You've been through it all. How are the players feeling now, you think?
Well, I'm sure that we've seen a couple of mistakes, haven't we, in the last few minutes, and that's something that players don't want to make.
Still 100% effort being shown out in the field. Notably that time by McGee. He's won the free kick, a challenge by Russell. Taken very quickly by Simpson. That almost reached Strachan. Headed away by Bet. Miller trying to avoid giving away the corner kick. Settles for the throw.
We're saying that people don't want to make mistakes, but I could very well feel that one of the teams will be hoping they can get that second goal. But if it goes to 5 minutes from the end, I'm sure you'll see players playing it a little bit safe, knowing that they've got a half-hour extra time to play.
Well, a corner kick it is to Aberdeen, right in front of their own fans, and Alec McLeish coming back into the box. Packs goalmouth again. Strachan's the kicker. Woodby and McLeish are there, and the tensions on goalkeeper Jim Stewart. Unfair in the eyes of the referee. Free kick to Rangers. McLeish making a long run back. Stewart happy to have the dead ball. Left. Doug Bell for Aberdeen. Getting away from McCullen's a good run from Bell. He's behind Dawson. Back, good dummy. Will Strachan. And McCullen is the hero for Rangers. Well, what a great move that was on the right from Aberdeen. It was all about Doug Bell's on the right. Getting away from Dawson. Playing it back. A great dummy from Black. There's Strachan. And after quite control it rolling up the first time, McCullen getting into clearance. The corner kick again for Aberdeen. Again Strachan to take it. Great first time volley from Bell. And that cannoning off the head of John McClelland. Another corner kick. Now that was a marvellous effort from Bell. Watch it again. Strachan's corner kick driven to the far side. His first time shot. And just as well McClelland got in the way. Aberdeen making their intentions perfectly clear. They want to win it. Their first attempt within the 90 minutes. So that's Strachan's corner kick again. McLeish underneath it. Chance now for Bell to return it. Bell again. Strachan calling for it. Almost sneaking it in. And appeals for handball, I think, against Strachan on the far side, but ball turned behind. Let's take a look at that again. It was Bell who had the chance to cross it. Came straight back out to him. This time it's over to the far side. Strachan, did he use a hand? Well, in any event, wide of the post. Let's see it from behind the goal. Again, it's Bell trying to prize open the defence. Back it comes again. Well, let's see if Strachan used an arm. Well, he might well have done. Left just as well and went wide. There's Eric Black. There's Strachan. Great little bit of vision there from Strachan to find Kennedy. Far post ball from McGee. Can he hit it back? There's Black. And Strachan. And the save of the match from Jim Stewart. Well, that was quite incredible. Kennedy it was. Lofting it across. McGee doing well to play it back. Look at the overhead kick from Black. There's Strachan. And Stewart getting the tips of his fingers to it.
Well, it really was a marvellous effort by Strachan. And Aberdeen's danger in the last 5 minutes has come 3 or 4 times from that right flank. Again, as we say, getting defenders turning. And I'm sure the minute before there, when Strachan had that chance when the ball bobbled away from him, depending on how the result goes, I think little Strachan will have a few nightmares about that one.
Well, second substitution for Rangers. Tommy McLean's experience in place of Gordon Yell's energy, exuberance and running power. So that means John McDonnell, I think, will resume up front alongside Colin McAdam, where he operated so well for much of last season. McLean will go into midfield, I'm sure. The crowd, by the way, 53,718. And they certainly have made plenty of noise. Miller not quite getting power behind the header. Good play from Cooper. Miller happy to escort that for the Rangers throw. Six minutes left, the tension mounting. Aberdeen 1, Rangers 1. Remember, there will be 30 minutes of extra time if the deadlock is not broken. And if it isn't broken after that, a replay on Wednesday the 2nd of June. McDonald to McLean. Russell, McLean wants to return. Now he's deadly with these cross balls. The bar back in from Cooper. And Leighton was completely at sea after that came off the bar. So back into midfield, Strachan to Kennedy. barged down by McAdam. Striking in a hurry with that free kick to Bell. Fine tackle from Colin Jackson.
Well, I'm surprised that Rangers hadn't brought on McLean certainly 50 minutes ago, because that's the type of thing that they were lacking. Somebody going down the flanks, getting again the defence turning, and a ball knocked in. And I thought for a moment that Jim Leighton felt it was going over, but it hit the crossbar, came back. Cooper had the header then. A bit of a scare for Aberdeen. But if Rangers are going to get into the game much more, then the type of play that McLean does, that's where they're going to get it.
FA Cup led score, still 0-0 there at Wembley. Queen's Park Rangers against Spurs. And here at Hampden, that look at the clock a moment ago, showing that we're inside the last 5 minutes, still one apiece. That long-range effort from Neil Cooper just making Jim Stewart look a little bit lively a moment ago. So there's John McDonald, the goal scorer for Rangers in 15 minutes. Back into a striking position alongside Colin McAdam. Rugby playing it inside. It's beyond McLean from Bet, but Jackson's there. And now Dawson. Willie Miller being eased off the ball by Colin McAdam. There's Strachan. Kennedy. Put in by Black. What can McGee make of this? Black has stayed in good position, he's onside. Good ball across and played away by Dawson. Kennedy. Black chipping it in. And no Aberdeen player towards the near post to cash in on that. 3 minutes left. The cup final still in the balance. There's McDonald. A run from Russell. It's covered all the way by Willie Miller. So there were 4 Premier League matches between the sides throughout the season. 2 3-1 wins and a 4-0 win for Aberdeen, a 0-0 draw at Ibrox. But it couldn't be more evenly contested now. Leighton again, a lot of whistling going on around the stadium. I don't think anyone will be disappointed to watch another half hour of this cup final. And with 2 minutes left, that prospect becoming more and more likely. The layoff from McDonald, long chase for Russell, couldn't quite make it. Throw. 90 seconds left. Tommy McLean. Bet made the forward run. McLean again, the playmaker, looking for Cooper. Yeah, just about a yard too far ahead of Davy Cooper. McLean again. It was well read by Black. He did well to cover that run forward from Miller. Now Rugby. Simpson off that run. He's got beyond Jackson. McGee into the middle. Cooper is through the middle. Strachan short inside. Now Simpson the chance to cross. Rangers defence is regrouped. And Miller turning it behind. So about half a minute left and Aberdeen have the corner kick. McLeish coming forward. There wasn't much stoppage time for injuries in the second half, so this could be the last attempt within the 90 minutes for a winner. There's Strachan. 12 is Doug Bell, 5 is Alec McLeish. Strachan putting it in, Stewart punching it clear. Seconds ticking away for Strachan. Fouled there by Cooper. The 90 minutes have come and gone. We're into time added on for stoppages, as Davy Cooper is booked for that body check on Strachan. So the free kick to Aberdeen. Well, there wasn't much time lost for injuries, so the whistle could go at any time. Rugby shot to Simpson into the packed box. Scrambled away by Rangers. We've had half a minute of injury time and the referee's checking his watch. Aberdeen still on the attack. Strachan just having the ball pinched by Colin Jackson, but that's the final whistle. The 90 minutes have gone, extra time to come. Aberdeen 1, Rangers 1. You won't miss any of the extra time, but for the meantime, it's back to Arthur Montfort in the studio.
Thank you very much, Jock Brown. We will be going back to, of course, to Hampden to see the whole uninterrupted extra time. Back to Jock Brown at the ground.
Thank you, Arthur, and referee Brian McGinley, who went into his own dressing room during that break, has reappeared, and the toss of the coin resulting in an Aberdeen kick-off for the first period of extra time. So Aberdeen certainly looked on the ascendancy a bit towards the end of that 90 minutes. We'll see what that little interval has done to the momentum of both teams. Strachan involved straight away. Black was pushed off the ball by Jackson. Strachan in a hurry with the free kick, too big a hurry in fact, and that'll be back to the same spot. Aberdeen really getting a second chance at that because the initial free kick came to nothing. So there certainly ought to be a lot of weary legs out in the field after the effort that's gone into the 90 minutes. Strachan's free kick. Showing plenty of energy left. Just couldn't get away from Bell.
Well, of course, the extra half hour is a very testing time, and some of the older players, the legs might give up. But it's also a time when mistakes can be made and games lost.
John McDonald, the Rangers. By Cooper. There's Colin McAdam for Rangers, and the dead ball kicker will be Tommy McLean. Towards Jackson. Well claimed by Leighton. A long run back for Jackson. Ball spinning wide now to Strachan. That's towards McGee, he's round the back. Mark McGee puts Aberdeen in front. The Aberdeen fans go wild. And this is a great ball from Gordon Strachan. Side there, and I just look at that cross. It's getting beyond Miller. McGee is coming in to attack it with his head. The downward header leaving Stewart helpless. Magnificent goal. 2 minutes of the first period of extra time gone, and Aberdeen go back in the driving seat.
Yes, a marvellous ball by Strachan, but I was saying regarding mistakes, there was McGee not marked at all in the penalty area, and I feel that could have come in because of the extra time, but it's still a marvellous goal by McGee.
Mark McGee knocks in his 15th goal of the season, and the most welcome of the lot, I've no doubt. I'm certain we can expect a major Rangers onslaught to get back in level terms. Aberdeen facing now the dilemma of holding what they have or trying to go for the goal which would surely clinch the cup. Now Simpson for Aberdeen. Setting off on a run himself. With short on support, and he's blocked there by Lawson. Just look at these Aberdeen supporters. Right now that long journey has been well worthwhile. And there's the happiest man I put out in Hampden just now, Mark McGee, the scorer of that goal. And again matching the earlier two in quality. There's Bell now getting into the blind side of the Ranger defence, and that's Colin McMillan's telescopic left leg rescuing Rangers. Bell again. Pulled down by Russell. Aberdeen really do appear to have the initiative in the match. That was the growing impression as full-time approached in the 90 minutes, and they started in a similar vein with that goal as extra impetus. They certainly won't be feeling the same kind of fatigue, I think, as Rangers with that lift. Simpson playing it in, Bell just can't quite reach it. Black rather with a header, and it was Bell with the long-range shot.
Well, I think another let-off for Rangers there, as I think it was McClellan who just stuck out a toe, because Neil Cooper was coming up on the blind side there and would have had an empty net to get the third goal. But Aberdeen, I think, deserved their lead in this part of extra time, because in the latter part of the second half, they were the team that did the most attacking. They broke down both flanks, mainly on the right. But that, and as we said earlier on, if you're going to get goals, that's where they're going to come from.
Neil Cooper's on the ground. He took a face knock there in that leap with Colin McAdam. This could be a serious blow to Aberdeen. Black putting pressure on McClelland. And the Northern Ireland international reacting well enough to clear things up, but Neil Cooper is in a lot of distress on the halfway line. His nose is bleeding. His mouth. It looked as though he may well have taken a flailing left arm from Colin McAdam. It was, for my money, a complete accident. None of the Aberdeen players appear to think any differently, but Cooper doing a lot of repair work. It is in fact his mouth, I think, that's cut. Well, let's have another look at this. Yes, it was that left arm, I think, of Colin McAdam, which was flying a little and caught Cooper in the mouth. Well, it will certainly take a great deal to prevent Neil Cooper from winning the match. Again, a view from behind the goal. Well, the terrace is populated by Aberdeen supporters. The nose, in fact, has been damaged. Cooper appears to have all his faculties again. So Black now robbed by McClelland. Rangers have been finding it very difficult indeed, Dennis, to get good passes to the forward players in the last 20-25 minutes or so.
I think mainly because Aberdeen have played so well, as I say, in the latter part of the second half and in his opening part. And of course, they got the early goal, which gives them that confidence. And I'm sure that Aberdeen will try now and get Rangers right out of it by getting the third goal. But, you know, football.
So Aberdeen's corner kick to be taken by Gordon Strachan. McLeish is up, certainly not settling for defence. That's for McLeish. Did very well with that header, it was almost underneath it. A lot of power behind it. Stewart setting off a Rangers attack. Davy Cooper and Neil Cooper coming into the tackle. He doesn't think it was unfair, but the referee does, and that's what matters. So the free kick to Rangers. John McDonald trying to turn in the box. McLeish not being tempted into a rash tackle. Good piece of cool defending by the Aberdeen centre-half. 7 minutes of the first period of extra time left. Cooper's corner kick. Jackson controlling it, but now Eric Black has the chance to go on a run. Supported in the left by McGee. Well, that's great running from Simpson. He's covered fully 60 yards to get the end of that pass. Cole just letting him down there. Miller making the tackle. McLean in good position in midfield. Again, too much pace in the pass. No chance for Cooper. Remember, it was 1929 when Rangers last lost a Scottish Cup final to anyone other than Celtic. It's quite a remarkable record. It is now in grave danger of being broken. Aberdeen's last cup win in 1970 when they overcame Celtic. No survivors on that team in this Aberdeen side. Cooper taking a face knock from Bell. Bell will be in trouble from the referee. Let's look at this again. Pass going forward from Dawson. Cooper slipping the ball inside and quite comprehensively taken out of the play by Bell. Well, the result is a booking for Doug Bell, about which he can scarcely complain. Cooper is off with the free kick too quickly. The referee had finished his paperwork. There's Colin Jackson in the box for Cooper's kick. Jackson coming in strongly, covered by Rugby. Now Cooper heading it out. Russell's return ball, Willie Miller underneath it. Now Aberdeen in the break again. McGee with Black. Black has got a lot of pace. This is the chance to clinch the match for Aberdeen. Great save from Stewart. Danger still not over. Ranger defence trying to get back in numbers. And now with McLean in possession, the moment of danger is over, but Eric Black had such a great chance to tie it up for Aberdeen. So there's Black going forward. Now he tries to chip the goalkeeper. That was great play for a youngster. Stewart reacted well enough to it. Now Strachan on the break for Aberdeen. Never a dull moment here. And again, great goalkeeping by Stewart. Asserting himself fully in that Rangers goal. Strachan and Dawson going together. Strachan just overrunning the ball. The clash between Strachan, Dawson, the goalkeeper. And the result is damage to both Dawson and Strachan. That's why there's a hold up for the moment. It is again Strachan with a great chance, looking up inside to see who was available, trying to do it by himself. Stopped and distracted by Stewart. Both Dawson and Strachan taking a knock. And that's the result.
Certainly a brave save by Stewart, but getting back to the earlier incident when we saw Black attempt to chip and obviously missed, for me, a fairly open goal. It was a case of Rangers going up and Jackson had been stranded in the Aberdeen penalty area. Aberdeen break away, and of course there's 2 against 1, and it was just a case of probably the young lad's inexperience in a cup final, because he really could have wrapped the game up for Aberdeen.
Well, said it was a good chance, but the youngster may well feel that he was a bit unlucky in that he was faced by a marvellous save from Jim Stewart. Strachan appears to have recovered. Dawson taking a bit longer. But happily both players return to the fray. The match will restart with a dropped ball in midfield. Finishes header. Or McLean. Miller is there. Cooper got the touch. Now Bell. Against the shins of Alec Miller, and Aberdeen have the throw. Just over 2 minutes left of the first period of extra time. Here's McGee taking on the defence single-handed. He's still coming forward. There's Strachan, and that will surely take the cup to Fitzpatrick. Strachan celebrates in typical fashion. But it was all down to Mark McGee. Look at this forcing run. Miller totally beat by McGee. Look at the coolness under pressure. Strachan with the open goal, and there it goes.
Yes, and I felt Miller made the initial mistake when he allowed McGee to get through, to push the ball through for Strachan. But I think it was something that really has been coming in the last 5 minutes. Aberdeen put it under pressure. The Rangers had a twofold problem. They had to stem Aberdeen from getting a third goal, and also, of course, they had to attack and try and get back in the game to get the equaliser. Now you feel that with Strachan putting that third goal in, Aberdeen are on the way to winning the Scottish Cup.
What the sad aftermath of that goal is that a stretcher is being called for Alec Miller. That was Miller who was in trouble there. Now look at him here, he's trying to hold off. He seems to get into all sorts of a fankle. And down he goes heavily. Hard to say really what happened to him from that. But the result, sadly for Rangers, for Alec Miller and for everyone here at Hampden, is the stretcher being brought on. There's the goal again, a sight for Aberdeen supporters to relish again. What a sight which no one in football likes to see, no matter where their loyalties lie. Alec Ferguson, the Aberdeen manager, is out there at the track. John Gregg is in the thick of that. There's John Gregg looking on anxiously, and the stretcher perhaps being denied, and injury time in the first period extra time has arrived. Miller clearly not keen to leave the field. The left leg that's sustained the damage, and being invited against his own judgment, I think, to leave the field for the moment at least. And the match restarts right back in the middle. Cooper off on the run, Rangers reduced to 10 men, and we're into injury time in the first period of extra time. Colin McAdam. That, by the way, Gordon Strachan's 20th goal of the season, 13 of which have come from the penalty spot. Cooper holding off Rugby. A free kick to Rangers. Miller still off the field, way behind the Rangers goal, as Bet lines up the free kick. Rangers now throwing everyone into the box. The only man back is Ali Dawson. Cooper flighting it in. There's Colin McAdam. Couldn't get direction behind that. A lot of power, but with Willie Miller jumping with him, he couldn't direct it accurately. Check it again. Good free kick again from Davy Cooper with that educated left foot. There's the leap from McAdam. Willie Miller, number 6, right beside him. Black is in behind McClellan, another chance for Aberdeen. And that's outside of the post. Great effort from Black. The ball is out. I think a corner kick should be given, yes. And Strachan's appeals for handball being waved aside by both the linesman and the referee. But that was great play again from Eric Black. There he is, in behind John McClellan, coming in from the left, the outside of the right boot. Stewart was beaten, but the post saves Rangers. This time to Kennedy, a looping cross. Nice kick from Russell and from Bell. Fatigue setting in. This time McGee was offside.
Rangers certainly have got a problem. Apart from being 3-1 down, they've now reduced to 10 men. And Aberdeen still attacking and attacking. And the boy Black really has been a bit unfortunate. If he looks back on the game, he really could have had 3 goals.
And there he goes again, Eric Black. Pass out wide from McGee. Alec Miller being helped away from the action. I don't think he'll be back. Clearly severely damaged left leg. Half-time whistle goes, and extra time. And that certainly was a period which has put Aberdeen right in control. Aberdeen 3, Rangers 1. Rangers now reduced to 10 men, and if they can pull back from this, Dennis, it'll be the all-time comeback.
Yes, I'm sure, and of course they will be trying to do something, but the way that Aberdeen's knocking the ball about, you could see them getting a fourth. But there's still 15 minutes to play, so they know that they'll try their best anyway.
Miller is being helped away. The teams have turned round straight away. There'll be no interval. In fact, now some question perhaps. Miller is asking, I think, to be allowed back. There he is, trying to run off that damage to his leg. We'll see if he comes back. Rangers still going forward. That's Russell, appeared to be impeded by Simpson. The free kick is given. And now down below us, Eric Miller is signalling that he wants to come back. Well, this is courage, above and beyond the call of duty perhaps. Wouldn't expect much else from Miller. If he can still hobble on, he may have a contribution to make. Cooper's free kick rather. Staying over the head of Simpson and collected by Leighton. Favourites to one last dying effort to save the match. Free kick for offside against McGee. Goes to Rangers.
Yes, and Rangers are in a terrible position really. If they're going to get back into the game, they've got to throw so many people up, try and get the Aberdeen defence to stay back there by creating numbers, but of course leaving themselves exposed at the back.
Bell's pass forward cut out by McLean, and his pass in turn intercepted by Miller. Cannon off the referee, giving Cooper possession. So young Neil Cooper's challenge, giving the free kick to Rangers. They're in a hurry, as you would expect. Cooper recovered from his face knock, and McLean flighting it in. That's a great header from McCallum rather. Oh, that was so close to Rangers' second goal. There it is, played in by McLean. There is the header. Lots of power behind it. McAdam it was, and just over the top.
Yes, and while there are minutes to play, you've always still got the chance. That's the second good header that McAdam has had during the game. And you can just see that it's unlucky, just over the bar.
Bell lofting it forward. Russell picking it up a bit. Well, that's good play from Cooper. Controlling it and going past Goodby in the one movement. Simpson back to cover his full-back. Another fine cross, claimed by Leighton. Despite the significant presence of Colin McAdam. Well, Stuart Kennedy in no hurry at all. A lot of possession play now from Aberdeen. The problems are all with Rangers. So Black and Jackson elbowing each other. Black was the main culprit, so Rangers allowed to proceed from that free kick. Foul by Miller and McAdam. McLean takes it quickly, as is Russell. McLean again. Good ball to Cooper. And Strachan back in a covering role this time, Elliot Dawson. Well, the sponsors, Weather Shield double glazing, I think will nominate a man of the match after this is all over, and it'll be a very interesting selection. Any thoughts on that, Dennis?
Sorry, Chuck, I was watching the play there. It was just another attack by Aberdeen.
Inviting you to give an opinion on the man of the match.
The man of the match for me would probably be Little Strachan. He's worked. So there's a few good players really. Cooper for Rangers, I think McLeish for Aberdeen, but certainly Little Strachan has played magnificent.
Russell's cross is beyond McAdam, a chance for Bet. Well, he might have to go first time. Chose to try to control it. There's Dawson. McAdam. And the arrival of Rugby prevented a shot and goal. Kennedy will get to that first. Endless stamina, tremendous pace. Now there's Black. Neatly taken away from him by McClellan. That decision going to Aberdeen. Stenoids to the Rangers players and supporters. Jackson's clearance. Kennedy again, stepping inside Bet. Strachan and Bell together. There's Cooper breaking through. A chance now, this will be the fourth goal for Aberdeen. And Cooper puts it in with tremendous relish. Well, suddenly it's become a rout. Neil Cooper celebrating in style. Going through that, a lot of power and conviction. He got the break of the ball off Stewart, who appeared to do well for Rangers. Now, a moment that boys dream about all the time in the world, that dump the ball home in a cup final.
Yes, and of course when things are going wrong against you, you don't get the breaks of the ball. Cooper in with Stewart. He didn't really know where the ball was, but he got the break, and as you say, it's a schoolboy's dream, being able to take your time, knowing that really all you got to do is crack it into the back of the net.
So there's 8.5 minutes left to play. Trying to signify that, you can see that for the 5-minute clock just exceeded, and the score: Aberdeen 4, Rangers 1. And while all that was happening, Alec Miller left the field, unable to carry on, and John McClellan almost snatching one back for Rangers. So the cross from Cooper, McClellan arriving, leaping above Rugby, the fine header just over the top. And Alec Miller is off the field. Rangers now have only 10 men. The scorer there, that scoreline: Cleesburg Rangers 0, Spurs 1. Glenn Hoddle has got the goal, which may well take the cup back to White Hart Lane for the second year in a row. There's Willie Miller. And McClellan has played Black onside. This time Stewart getting to the ball in plenty of time.
Yes, again we keep saying Rangers are in an awful position, really. Doubt whether they can get back into the game, but even when it was 3-1 they were hard pressed to get back, and leaving themselves, as we say, exposed at the back is something that really is between the devil and the deep blue sea.
Blain's free kick, finding the head of McAdam. Decision going to Aberdeen, clearly indicated by the linesman. Aberdeen's free kick. Rugby joining Strachan with the socks at the ankles. So a sad final match for Colin Jackson, the Rangers centre-half, his last match for Rangers. He hoped it would be another cup medal to add to 3 he already has, but there's surely now no chance of that. Tommy McLean still trying to prise open the Aberdeen defence, catching McDonald on his heels, allowing Miller to intercept. Simpson is well offside. Strachan playing that through. So John McClellan with a free kick for Rangers. shout to Kennedy. Good jump that from Black. Finding him behind Jackson again. And McClellan measuring the pass back. Asking for the throw out. Inviting someone to come short. There's no takers, so Rugby's header gives Rangers the throw. Minutes left. McLean lining one up with the left foot. And no luck at all for little Tommy McLean. 5 minutes of extra time left for Aberdeen really to relish and enjoy, and for Rangers to endure. There's Bell. Advantage allowed. Simpson tried to hang back, but he had gone into an offside position. Neil Simpson has displayed again his horrific stamina in midfield for Aberdeen. McAdam barging his way past Miller. Fish coming across. And McAdam running out of luck. Just about sums up Rangers' day. Did very well initially to get past Miller, but after the dummy and McLeish just ran out of space. So Rugby's clearance. Score from Wembley, the equaliser for Queen's Park Ranger was Finnick, equalising the goal scored by Hoddle. Drama also at Wembley. Replay now staring them in the face. Three minutes left for play. Corner kick. Jackson still going forward. Cooper playing it in. Rugby getting to that before anyone else. Cooper turned away from Bell. Rangers free kick. Cooper again. Once again Rugby heading it away. Pass back from Strachan, resulting in McAdam falling over the figure on the ground, which was Doug Rugby. 2 minutes left, Rugby's on the ground. They seem to fall badly after that headed clearance. It's a sad way that is for him to finish a cup final.
There's one thing, Jock, it's been a good advert for Scottish football, particularly in this last hour or so, including the real game and the extra time. And it's nice to see, particularly for Jock Stein, that McLeish and Strachan in such fine form, because of course, as we all know, they go over to Spain to play in the World Cup after a very long season, hard season. It's nice to see them really at the top of their career.
Rugby recovers. He'll certainly want to be in the thick of it when the celebrations begin after the final whistle. Good ball forward from McDonald, cut out by Miller. Yes, Dennis, I think it's a victory which Aberdeen couldn't be denied on the play.
No, certainly the way that they played in the last half hour of the proper game, when they really showed some fine skills. But in extra time, that extra skill has just paid off for them.
So into the final minute now as Mark McGee starts off a run on the left. Stopped by Russell. seconds left. Losing control is Simpson. Leaving it to Black. Strachan's on the left. Seconds ticking away now. Referee's checking his watch. Strachan stopped by Cooper. And a good tackle that also by Davy Cooper as the 30 minutes of extra time come to an end. Barely enough time for the corner kick to be taken. Strachan enjoying the occasion now to the full. Strachan again into the box. Well taken by Stewart at the near post. Making life difficult for Jim Stewart. All eyes on the referee. And that's the final whistle. Aberdeen have won the Scottish Cup for just the third time in their history. There's the captain of the Milan, number 6. Handshakes from Colin McAdam. John Gregg, the Rangers manager, thoroughly disappointed, offering a congratulatory handshake to Alec Ferguson, who looks remarkably restrained, if you recall the way he reacted to the League Championship win a couple of years ago. Obviously delighted, the Aberdeen manager, as well he might be, not only with the win but with the style of victory. Final score 4-1, one each after 90 minutes. McDonald for Rangers. Equalizer came in from Alec McLeish, and then extra time goals from McGee, Strachan and Cooper, making it 4-1 on the occasion. And Rangers finishing up sadly defeated with Eric Miller off the field, leaving them with only 10 men. So the celebrations are on, and Andy Melvin's in the thick of that crowd down there. Let's see if he can find any Aberdeen player to express his opinion on the situation in the match.
The cameras. Here we go. Well, with me, a very, very happy Alec Ferguson. Alec, you must be delighted not only with the victory, but by the way they won the cup.
Well, it's the manner we wanted to entertain, we wanted to win, and we've done the both. Certainly didn't start well, but we sort of prepared that way, that there may be some nerves. But, magic. And the second half, they started to do it. They started to do it. Extra time was just icing in the cake.
Were you worried at 1-0?
Well, you're always worried because you knew you could play better, Andy, you know. But they did well. They did well. You know, I'm proud of them.
Alec, let's go in and you can enjoy Willie Miller lifting the trophy. Thanks a lot.
So the latest news from Wembley. In fact, the final score: Queen's Park Rangers 1, Spurs 1. A replay there. And there's the presentation of the Scottish Cup. The Aberdeen skipper Willie Miller with the moment he's been waiting for so long. Holding the cup aloft for the Aberdeen supporters who've travelled down here in such great numbers. Incidentally, the Man of the Match award was presented in the midst of all that to Alec McLeish. So Willie Miller coming down the steps. Jim Leighton thoroughly elated. John McMaster holding a cup aloft. There's Stuart Kennedy going down the stairs. Mark McGee, one of the goal scorers. Good rugby. He's found the red and white tammy. And young Neil Simpson, one of the new players, have come to the fore this season for Aberdeen. Black, just 18 years old, a moment he'll never forget. Another 18-year-old, Neil Cooper. Gordon Strachan, the man who dictated most of the play in midfield for Aberdeen. John Hewitt. Doug Bell, and the man elected man of the match, the Scotland centre half, Alec McLeish. He's entrusted with the task of task for the Aberdeen centre-half. So that's the look of a player among the vanquished. That's Colin Jackson, his final match for Rangers. A day of great disappointment. Great 7 for Rangers over 19 years. A career to be proud of. Finishing on a note that certainly for him will be very sad indeed. Jackson towards the end of the queue of Rangers players going up for the runners up middle as Aberdeen come down to face the photographers. Well, skipper Ali Dawson, well, you can see the difference on the faces of the two captains already. Ali Dawson looking disconsolate as well he might. Jim Bett the same. And there's the sad lineup of Rangers players. Cooper certainly tried hard enough, so did Colin Jackson. Can still manage a smile in all the circumstances. Colin McCann worked tirelessly as substitute. Jim Stewart did well in goal. And the Aberdeen players now off on their lap of honour. Followed by the photographers to produce the pictures you'll see tomorrow morning. So Aberdeen won the Cup in 1947, they won it in 1970 by beating Celtic 3-1. Now this 4-1 victory over Rangers makes it a joyful year in 1982. That's where all the Aberdeen supporters are congregated behind that goal. And still at the other end, the Rangers supporters singing their praises for their favourites. So that's the happy scenes for Aberdeen supporters and players in Hampden Park. The final score again, Aberdeen 4, Rangers 1. And with these scenes here at Hampden, I'll hand you back to Arthur Montford in the studio.
Commentator at Hampden Park was Jock Brown, summarised by Dennis Law, and a reporter there on the field. First man to talk to the Aberdeen manager after the game was Andy Melvin. Well, in my Scott Sport preview last night, I tipped Rangers to win, so it gives me great pleasure to congratulate Alec Ferguson and his players on what turned out to be a superb victory. Coupled with an apology to younger viewers who hope to see Worsley Gummidge, but as you can appreciate, our extra time at Hampden took care of that, and Worsley will pop up another day, another time. We'll also pop up in just a couple of minutes because we've got the package, an edited package of the dramatic extra time at Wembley. The final score there, incidentally, was 1-1. I think you heard Jock Brown say that. And it was quite a remarkable second half of extra time. And we'll have those goals for you shortly. And we're also hoping to go back to Hampden Park. And in addition to that, a final word from our two studio guests. But right now, we'll take a break. Rejoin us in just a couple of minutes. Out at Hampden Park, there they are. And just a very quick comment from Jock Wallace. I think we interrupted you the last time, Jock. Key players in the second half, we did mention Davy Cooper, I think, didn't we? And there's Tom McAdam, whom you mentioned earlier, Colin McAdam coming on for Rangers. That could be an interesting substitution.
Well, I felt that Davy Cooper and young Strachan run the game in the first half, and the two men were in the build-up, Cooper and McLeish for the goals, and I felt that McLeish had two good chances and took one, and he scored a great goal at that particular time. OK,
off we go for the second half. Back to Jock Brown.
Thank you, Arthur. And Colin McAdam is lined up right on the halfway line with Alec Miller going into Sandy Jordan's position at right back. So we'll see where Colin McAdam performs throughout the second half. He's the target for that long ball, challenging Alec McLeish. McAdam anxious to make his presence felt early on, obviously going to play in a forward position. And that foul given against DL, elbowing Stuart Kennedy. So the second half underway, and Rangers now setting off in an attempt to win their 25th Scottish Cup. And McGee going very quickly in on that. McMillan showing a lot of faith in Stewart's pace off the line. A discussion between McGee and McMillan there. It's played forward by Cooper, and the L is offside, or was it John McDonald? Positioning of the referee suggests it might well have been John McDonald. So it's Colin McAdam wearing number 12, who's not.
Good evening. Sometimes it really does happen. Today was one of those occasions when around about 4 o'clock we knew we were going to have a combination of football matches that will be hard to beat all season. It then got even better. So we not only have a barrelload of goals for you, but football that comes right out of the top drawer. Added to which we had filmed cameras at Midfield, where the score for one side alone was more than 8 English batsmen could muster in the last test match. This is what you might call one of the quieter moments at Pittodrie.
Have got to come back. Hamilton and McCloy. McMaster off the line, but Stratford all through his legs. How did it stay out?
Oh yes, a great game to behold. Tonight we made a draw for the Indoor World Championships, which became so popular last year.
He has the final delivery of this quite remarkable 9th end.
And Midfield was the place to be if you're a devotee of running rugby.